Mr. Kedabo. Today, I have it's a journalist on journalist. I have Mr. Yusuf Taylor, an investigative journalist and fact checker with Ascanwi. I
Yes.
pronounced it right.
Yes, you did.
And he's being based in the UK before Jammeh left.
Yes.
And when Jammeh left, you came back.
Indeed. I came back in 2018.
Interesting. So, and you were a journalist even before Jammeh left.
Yes.
Of course, but engineer by
Activist.
training.
Yes. Engineer by training, journalist, activist, human rights activist. I mean, I'm passionate for a
Team
better
Gomsa
Gambia.
Bopa.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wear many hats.
Welcome to this verified edition.
Pleasure. I've been following. Great job, especially the one with Karamba, the former NAO, AG. Yeah, I really, during his term, he did a wonderful job.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. And I was very much enjoying the small, stuff that they used to, infographics, etc. But
Great.
hey, I think today we have to talk about one of his former bosses.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, this edition. I mean, I think that in the last few days, one of the Gambians has seen a number of issues that has been happening, and one of the most complex in our history. That's issues, matters relating to the former president of the Gambia. How he left power has come back to the fore. The elections has come back to the fore. His return and residence in the Gambia has come back to the fore. And the human rights violations have come back to the fore. Everything has come back to the fore. And so this conversation is about that, I guess. So let's take it back to the beginning, the impasse. I mean, what's your recollection of what happened?
Well, it certainly differs from how Jammeh has tried to revise history, in my perspective. I mean, obviously, I wasn't in the country, but being a journalist, we are still very connected with what was happening in the Gambia. In fact, we were live following the elections. So basically, in my view, Jammeh had the chance to stay in the country if only he acted within the confines of the law, which for some reason he tried to use the law with the courts, etc., to try to say that he was going to contest the elections or whatever. But he didn't have the required number of judges available. So even if you listen to his audio, that's Jammeh's audio, you will hear him scrambling around, talking to different countries to try to get their judges in.
Yeah. But the whole point of the judges,
of
I remember back in the time they said there was a case there were a number of cases, plethora of cases at the Supreme Court. And Jammeh didn't fail to empanel it because he didn't want some of those. And this includes the case that was brought by the GPU against defamation. I remember the ones that Emily and others were a part of. So
the laws that he pretty much ruined, now they were not in place for him to use them. So if you listen to his audio, he was scrambling around Ghana, Sierra Leone, other countries. He was trying to get judges.
I remember also there was an argument back in the time by folks like Femi Falana, for example, that if Jammeh, who is a party to this case, had used his powers to now empanel Supreme Court with these selected judges, how can we trust the outcome of that case?
Yeah, I think that's why he was trying to. But Jammeh is not that. I think he's not dumb, He's not a fish brain, to be very fair to the guy. So I think he was trying to use the other countries' judges instead. Even though pretty much when you say mercenary judges, that was the feeling around at that time, that they were not using Gambians or the Gambian judges. You understand? So. That would still have fed into that narrative, which you are talking about, I can see. But he was trying to use other countries to see how they could come and bring the judges in for him. And obviously that never happened. But he didn't follow due process. I think it all unraveled when Jammeh decided to reject the results. That was when things started to ravel.
But even if let's suppose he had taken the case to Supreme Court, I mean, there was a period, and this was a very lengthy period, where also Jammeh had some paramilitary forces and supposed junglers, we were the IEC junglers were there, had come and they had taken control of the IEC, and the ballot drums were literally in their custody for a very lengthy period, basically throughout the period, most of the period of the impasse. So, I mean, there were a lot of folks who argued that this goes to the heart of the credibility of the evidence you are talking about.
Of course.
If this case goes to court, how do we trust that the ballots have not been stopped?
And there's another issue for me. I feel it's very difficult. I don't know how do you prove Gambians' elections? That's another topic on its own.
Yeah.
Given the system, it's not written or everything is just by drums, etc. So it can be that's another issue on its own.
Yeah,
so
and especially that it was on the spot.
Exactly, on the spot. That is part of Jammeh's arrogance that led to his downfall. He introduced on-the-spot counting, and that led to us in the diaspora getting the results and even announcing it.
Yeah, but also remember that on the spot was like, as they say in English, a pill in a sugar cotton. Did I say it right?
Exactly.
Because he brought in an amendment which was very harsh to the opposition, shooting up all the
prices, the
cost,
and that brought them together.
That brought them together.
Yes.
Now, but he, within that, so he said, okay, because you have been asking about this for the longest time, and I know I'm going to beat you at the polls, so I have no problem giving you that.
On the spot, yes. And I think that was a big disaster for me. And Jammeh comes up with the false narrative that basically he, as pretty much was challenging the results, and what would have happened was that he continues to remain in power whilst the challenge. But that's not the way things work. Yeah, you will still have to vacate your office.
Yeah.
And if you are successful and the results turn around and that Jammeh wins, then he would have the authority to then be head of state.
Yeah.
So, but obviously, what actually brought the impasse was Fabakary Tombong Jatta's, what's it called?
The state of emergency.
State of emergency.
Imposition.
Yes.
But that's also has a foundation in Jammeh's refusal. And so Jammeh refused the results and says that but do you think, in fact, in the first place, because based on the first tabulations, both the data that was with the coalition and with Jammeh were tallied. The mistake was made by the IEC in their Excel.
Yes.
But the data with the opposition and with Jammeh, they are all the same.
And they both point to one thing.
Yeah.
He lost the elections.
Yes.
So the whole narrative that he is projecting that the election results was not correct, clearly has been shot out of
the mistake. The incorrect one was announced by the IEC, which they corrected later. But the results Jammeh had and the one that coalition had through their own tabulations, those ones are the same.
Yeah.
I think we were all reporting the same.
I mean, to be honest, they lost, simply. He lost the elections. He did, for a minute, everybody was like not expecting Jammeh to do what he did, which was to accept.
Yeah.
Then the real Jammeh came when he rejected the elections.
But do you think, Joseph, do you think that there was not an excuse to buy himself more time? Because even when Jammeh accepted the results,
or rejecting?
When he accepted the results, there was a deployment all throughout the country. Soldiers were putting sandbag positions. There can be deployment in the country, but deployment and battle readiness are two different things.
Yes.
But this one is a deployment and battle readiness. The soldiers were having sandbag positions.
Incredible.
Right on deployment.
Yeah.
That is
so in a sense, he was saying one thing but doing another.
He was seemed to have been saying one thing, but doing another.
Doing another thing. And I guess everybody saw what happened. And many people started to be concerned. But then it all was cemented and confirmed when he did actually refuse openly. And upon when he refused, obviously other heads of state started to engage him. Some of them who had already vacated power, trying to, get him to realize that, look, there is life
After
presidency.
I guess that was the wisdom of bringing Mahama into the
exactly.
team. But Mahama back in the day had lost an election.
That's the point. So, and look, Mahama went, let's contrast. Mahama went peacefully. Well, obviously, he hadn't been doing what Jammeh was doing with junglers and things like that. That's been exposed. And now he's the president of Ghana again, right now. So I think it just highlights that power, it can really corrupt, and ultimate power in Jammeh's, obviously, case corrupted him. I mean, they talk about the money, the Jammeh Commission has exposed, etc. Jammeh does not only have to contend with human rights violations, he has to contend with gross economic violations. And he himself, he would hold people accountable for those kind of things.
Yeah. But do you think in the first place that there was legitimacy in the claim that Barrow's election was not legitimate? In other words, Barrow stole an election. Do you think there was any evidence to that effect?
If anybody was in place to steal elections, it most likely is the incumbent, right? When it comes to in African politics. Because when we say incumbent, it's Jammeh himself, right? Because some Gambians, I don't know what I mean. Because when you look at who holds the power, who wields, it's the government in power. The opposition does not have that power. Although I know there's a lot of talk about the whole 300,000 ballot papers that
voters were reportedly burned.
Yes, and now we are seeing that it's unraveling in court, etc. So it adds another dimension to this whole thing.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think...
But those were supposedly ones that fictitious voters for Jammeh, not necessarily...
Not real voters?
Not for Barrow.
Okay. You see? So that's what I mean. But if you want to... if you deny your opponent votes, there's this, sort of conspiracy that the opposition or the coalition were the ones who orchestrated the burning of those cards so that the voters who would have voted for the President Jammeh wouldn't vote.
And also, Joseph, not only was there no evidence until to date, because if there is evidence, if you had lost an election, like I always say, I mean, even with the UDP one, there is no clear-cut smoking gun that 2021 election was stolen. Okay?
It's the same. I feel the same thing. But Gambian elections is very difficult to steal.
But even if there is a stolen vote, okay, the reality is that there is always a huge margin. Okay? Because here you are engineering a results. You make sure there is a huge margin so that there is no margin for error. It doesn't come like 15,000 votes difference, 10,000 votes difference. This was the kind of situation between Jammeh and Barrow.
Yes.
If Barrow was to rig an election, why would he settle for 15,000 margin?
Exactly.
Doesn't make sense, does it?
Yeah. I completely see what you mean. I mean, you would make it to be much more convincing.
Yeah.
A more convincing victory, which is what, most of people would have been bragging.
He barely survived. I don't barely survived. I mean, it was 15,000, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, the odds, the reason why if Mama Kande didn't run, President Barrow wouldn't have won.
He would not have won. There's no chance in hell.
It's like the stars aligned.
Yeah.
On the spot counting, the increased fees,
yes,
made the coalition come together a little bit.
Yes.
You could argue how much that
the tension, which is the jail opposition leaders.
Exactly.
Something phenomena.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The stars just aligned. Mama Kande even running, right? Splitting, grabbing Jammeh's voters.
Yes.
Because most of the people who voted for Mama Kande, they would have voted for Jammeh.
Yes.
So I feel like it was just his time. And
it was just the time to take the lead.
Gambians, like the slogan, Gambia had decided. I think that was just it.
But I mean, let's look at because this so-called agreement has been at the center of conversation. Like I said, I was on TikTok yesterday. And, I've always said that I think that for a country to make progress, it's not leaders, political leaders who will fix it. It's the people themselves who will be able to fix it. And those people cannot fix it until they have quality information, until they are informed.
Indeed.
So that they are not you don't have somebody playing with people's emotions using tribe or social connection
or
or
even
whatever,
religion.
or religion. Or,
Yes.
exactly.
Yep.
So I was online and TikTok, and people were talking about Jammeh's coming, and the issue of the UN agreement with
Keeps
AU
coming
and
up.
others kept coming up. And what do you learn from the agreement? Does it say anything about immunity?
That's a very important question. And I think that's one of the things that they've used to really sway people's emotions. That there is this so-called agreement which allows Jammeh to come back and, return as some sort of a king. That's far from the truth. It's a 14-point agreement. I mean, it's available online. You can go and see it.
Yeah.
But the one which is, for me, most important is the section 13. You see, it says, ECOWAS, the AU, and the UN will work with the government of the Gambia to ensure that former President Jammeh is at liberty to return to the Gambia at any time of his choosing, in accordance with international human rights law and his rights as a citizen of the Gambia and a former head of state. Now, this is nothing new because of the Constitution already guarantees this. The Constitution says every citizen has the right to come in and leave the country. So there's nothing new in there. But when it comes to immunity, there is nothing else in here that gives the former President Jammeh any form of immunity. It does not say that the former president shall not be tried, or shall not be held accountable for any of the wrongdoings which he had done during his tenure as president of the Gambia. It doesn't say that. So I think as the president, I don't know, maybe, Jammeh had a lot of narratives. Some of them we already talked about, that he projects. And perhaps he felt that this might shield him. I think if that was the perception he got before he traveled, then the heads of states made a very good job to trick him.
But also there was this claim out there that his assets were seized and they should not have been seized because they are protected under this agreement.
That does not exist in here.
Because if you they said that to use point 8, where it says that ECOWAS, AU, and UN commit to work with the government of the Gambia to prevent seizure of assets and properties, but then there is a catchword. Lawfully belonging.
Exactly.
So, and there was an investigation by the government, and of course, for me as an investigative journalist, and I'm sure it's the same for you, if I disagree with something, I provide alternative facts. I provide alternative evidence. So far, the evidence leads to the conclusion that Jammeh had acquired unexplained wealth. And therefore, he had accumulated wealth in excess many millions more than he could possibly...
Billions?
Yeah, more than he could possibly... No, I mean in dollars. Some said even up to $1 billion.
Yes.
But some said, I mean, the government said $365 million. But so that he acquired more money in excess of what he could have possibly achieved.
And during that period?
Yes, during that period, because we know his salary and every benefit he was having.
Yes.
But also they calculated all the actions and inactions of directly connected to him that causes financial loss to the state. That is what went to in excess of 365 million United States dollars. And so therefore they look at all his assets. It was on that basis that they forfeited all the assets.
Jammeh owned islands. We're not just talking about houses and buildings. Jammeh owned hundreds of plots of land in this country.
Yeah.
That cannot be lawful. There is no explanation to how Jammeh lawfully acquired any of these funds or wealth. I was making a video and I said that, Jammeh came in without a butut. Somebody responded to say he had $150
I mean, when Jammeh was
was
coming, I think the salary of the president of the, it's in the Jammeh Commission. Salary of the president of the Gambia is in Jammeh Commission. I think it's something like $5,000 or maybe something like that. Yeah, but when Jammeh was coming, we knew what the salary was. When he was leaving, the salary of the president was 170,000. Of course, now Barrow
taking it to 500 almost.
But anyway, I mean, we can. I mean, and I think that before I touched on that, the issue of the agreement. I mean, can it be said that Gambia government acted unlawfully by opening an investigation into Jammeh using this agreement, or violated this agreement by opening any kind of financial investigation into Jammeh? Can that be said?
No, I don't think so. Okay, people will say, obviously, Flex is an anti-Jammeh advocate, so he's biased. But lawfully, what you acquire, you can prove that this is yours, right? I don't think that that's something that can be taken from you. But this is not a secret, right? These are facts that everybody knows about Jammeh's assets that he has acquired over time. I mean, and it's just so unimaginable. Somebody would just send instructions to go to central bank and monies will be given to this guy. These instructions were not even written in some instances. That's just the amount of,
You mean the Jammeh Commission findings?
Yes. These are serious findings. They don't even follow protocol. There's, in many instances, he says somebody phone calls and this is how they used to operate.
Yeah.
So
doesn't that find an explanation in Jammeh's own rhetorics? Because Jammeh, to date, I mean, just his recent audio when he was addressing Barrow, he says we will know who owns that country. And so technically, I mean, it goes to the heart of Jammeh's mindset that the republic is his own.
Oh yes, for Jammeh, he was the.
That doesn't seem to be in doubt.
When you asked, this is the guy who said that he gets his money from Allah's central bank.
No, you can say that is rhetoric, but he did say that he owns the republic.
You see, this is exactly what I mean. So that means he's not accountable. You're asking him about accountability. This money is given to me from God. It's God who selects leaders, pretty much. So, and he felt that he would be here for 1 billion years, or he would say those kind of crazy things. But in his statement as well, he was saying that all of those who are no longer with him, when he comes, they should not expect, he will not give them position. The sense of entitlement, that positions are his to give, that even the country, we will see who owns the country, whether it's him or Barrow. This is the mindset of Jammeh, you see. And it goes to show you that somebody who feels so entitled does not in any way feel that they have to be accountable to anything, to anybody. Not for funds, not for wealth, because of these are things that him as the supreme leader, he has this perspective of supreme leadership,
Yeah. That he derived his authority from God.
Yes. His party is his party. If he sacks you, he brings you in, there's no process in their party. He selects the executive. You understand? Flag bearer, everything is him. If you have to run, he decides, not the party members. So that's the way he feels like he can run Gambia as well.
So, but was there, to the best of the evidence to show that Jammeh was indeed culpable for financial crimes? I mean, we've seen the issue of mining, which we did a lot stories about a lot, I mean, including Jammeh Commission and now, and many others. Do you think the evidence is credible and overwhelming that indeed Jammeh was implicated in financial crime?
I think the conclusion will be that none of these things could take place. All of these things, let me be much more clear. All of these things could never take place without Jammeh approval.
But mine in particularly was under his office at that time.
See?
It's just
Exactly.
yeah.
And who has to sign these things off?
And Alhamdulillah, mining company was his own.
You see? Who has to sign these things off? He had many companies.
But why do you think Jammeh never, even right now when he speaks, he doesn't? I have never heard of Jammeh an audio where he interrogates the evidences that were against him or tries to explain something. He doesn't feel like he has to do that.
It's that lack
But
of
why do you think?
the arrogance and the lack of accountability that he feels that he is not subject to, as any normal citizen is. The laws don't abide to him. Remember, this is a guy who, even the 1997 Constitution, they brought it. And in this 1997 Constitution, they put in lots of safeguards for themselves. So they also have this perspective of they are not culpable. Look at one of his...
But as a president, I mean, even if you are, especially somebody who claims to be so godly, I mean, so much obsessed with God and religion. I mean, if you love God and you think you're very religious, you do know this life is going to end. And especially if you're at 60, you know. If you're at 70...
How old is Jammeh now?
He's 60 plus.
You see, so I think time is catching up with him.
Well, he's approaching over 60. He's no longer the 29-year-old who came to power.
He's very homesick right now.
He's actually over 60. Jammeh and Barrow are the same age.
See?
Both 1965, 1965.
Yeah.
Okay? If you are 60, by the time you are 70, if you are not dead, you are begging God to kill you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay? So, I mean, there is a time lapse here.
Yes. And perhaps he wants to enjoy his last 10 years. But when you look at African leadership, there was this one video of this one old guy really hanging on, trying to still campaign, but he could barely. I mean, this is African leadership.
Paul Biya.
Yes, this is African leadership.
By the time Paul Biya leaves, I think he will be 96 or something.
You see? So
by the time his next term ends.
So perhaps he's looking at his... And
he's older than... I saw somebody said he's older than computer, he's older than atom bomb, he's older than United Nations, he's older than internet. Suddenly he's older than TikTok.
So I'm sure Jammeh must be thinking, look at these guys. I can still do this. Give themselves that sort of a confidence.
But
that
Yusuf, before we will come to TRRC, but before we come to TRRC, I want to talk to you about something. And this is very concerning for me. I mean, until I grew up being an admirer of PDYs, because I'm still a socialist.
You're still a what, sorry?
A socialist.
Okay, a socialist, okay.
And I grew up admiring PDYs, but at some point I stopped, loving politics and politics. And I'm still I still keep my views about how
when people say, I don't want to detract, but very quickly. When people say they're a socialist, I feel if you look at yourself and you ask yourself a series of questions, you will see that some of your answers are socialist. Some of them might even not be, the way you respond.
Yeah, but
and
I
so
identify...
there's like a spectrum.
Well,
but you identify as a socialist.
Yes, I identify
fine, okay.
like that.
That's fine.
And of course, whatever all that means.
Let's go back to what you're saying, yes.
But the point I'm trying to make, I am concerned about the psyche of the Gambian mind. In terms of sovereignty, not as an idea of state, but as an independence of the mind, of the thought process of the Gambian. Okay, the recognition of Gambians' own dignity, like your own dignity. I mean, do you not think that you are deserving of being the president of the Gambia?
Yeah, I mean, everybody should have that, the belief that is a dream that is achievable, but also one must realize that there can only be one president.
Yes, but I understand. Yes. But I'm not talking about the possibility.
Yes.
I'm not talking about the possibility. I'm not talking about the reality of being a president.
Yes.
I'm talking about the right.
Yes.
Of being the president.
Yes.
Now, do you think that it
I actually don't see being the president as a right, but a privilege.
A privilege.
Yes.
Now, no, but it's a right of every individual
to contest for the presidency.
To aspire to be president.
Yes, yes.
That's a right.
It's a dream.
Yeah, but
I would call it a dream.
No, but
I believe everybody has the right to contest to be presidency.
Yes.
And it's a dream.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
yes.
How do you contend with the idea in 21st century that somebody could rule you for 22 years and later on also still be entitled to just rule you forever? Like,
yeah.
What could have been?
Those are the things that baffle people like me. And that's the way why I'm a staunch activist, not just a journalist. Because
what kind of a mind could produce that? Like
entitlement.
No, it's not just entitlement, because if you are talking about entitlement, then you are talking about the person who thinks he still should continue to be president. But I'm talking about the mind of the person.
Yeah.
The educated. The education of the person who believes that leadership is bestowed upon people by God, and that such an endowment can continue for eternity.
Yes, that's Jammeh for you. I believe it's entitled.
No, but that's not Jammeh.
It's not just Jammeh, and that's where I was going to come.
Yeah.
Right? The previous president was here for how long? 30 years.
30 years, yes.
And Jammeh,
when he wanted to resign.
Yes, his own people were telling him that he should continue.
This is not possible.
And then OJ was this is one of the reasons why I really had a lot of respect for OJ. Because he was one of those who said that, Dawda Jawara should step down. The first president should step down, but which goes to show you his mindset, that continues. Some people will say perhaps he felt that he would be the one to benefit next.
Yeah, because even BB also, that's what people think.
Yes.
Because BB also wanted him to go.
So some people would think that. But I feel, when you become the president, right? They say power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. You are surrounding yourself with people. So there's this hegemony around you, which survives off from you. And many of those people, they don't want you to, even when you want to step down, they don't want you to step down, because it means that they also have to step down.
So you do not think that this goes beyond that?
No, I believe that it's a combination of all these things. Yes, it's a combination.
Is there any spirituality to it?
For Jammeh, though, I was starting with Dawda Jawara. Now, let's come to Jammeh. There's this hero complex he also has, that they have saved Gambia from the previous leadership, you see? So now, add that onto what the picture I was trying to color up here. These people who are still around you. And not only that, remember Jammeh had people who were so powerful. When I mean powerful, he had like a private army, killing squad. If you say anything, he would make you disappear. You see? So the arrogance, the entitlement, and then the way that the people were also just behind you. You can do no wrong. You can be king, Babili Mansa.
Isn't this generally the Gambian problem? Because, for example, come to think of it, Barrow also came on the promise of 3 years. Okay? He cheated his way to 5 years. Okay? He pushed it to 10 years. Now he's pushing it to 15 years. And somehow, people don't come out, people with himself, do not come out and say, Mr. President, I like the truth. You're crossing the red line. We have this number of very strange kind of tolerance for excess.
Barrow was very much emboldened. You see, this is why I said that there are many factors. When Dabo came out and said he would sue anybody about this 3 years
thing. Who says Barrow should go,
Yeah. Emboldened this guy.
Yeah.
You see? Barrow was in no position to even contemplate that he would be here for this period. You understand?
But it all goes into the thinking of the people. Like you've talked about Dabo. When Dabo said that, people who were with Dabo, they supported that.
Of course.
Okay, but if you look at even the political terrain, let's put Jammeh, Jawara, and Barrow aside. If you look at the opposition leaders, they enjoy the same kind of support, even in senselessness. Like that's what is worrying. That's the point I am trying to drive at. Like
when the activists came out and said that they want water and electricity and dignity, those who were supporting the government said, what did they say? Not in my name. That was what their group was. And they were going against those advocates who were, it goes to show you that they said they should not hold the government accountable. The fact that we have citizens who feel that nobody should hold the government accountable, it's too early.
That was back in 2017.
Yes. And the fact that Dabo had come out and said that anybody who said that this whole 3 years thing, get ready, he will take you to court. So and it's not just the politicians, those supporters, it comes all the way down. So
now I think he said he would take the subject matter to court, not necessarily the individual to court.
Yeah, okay, no, I'm just, what I meant...
to uphold the constitution, he would take that matter to
court. What I meant was, he had done that, and then...
in defense of the 5 years.
Yeah, and then other supporters were also coming out against activists. That's what I meant by
he later flipped though, after...
Exactly, exactly, because it does not favor him. Yeah. So,
but I mean, generally, Joseph, I mean,
just
I
to
took
say
a
very
pause.
Quickly, we create this dictatorship. Dictatorship is not just created by just the person's own psyche and one dictator coming. The people create that dictatorship. Also, we feed this monster. I don't know if you get where I'm coming from.
But could we not have created, what do you think is the source? That's why I'm trying to get at. Like, it seems to be widespread. I was on TikTok yesterday, and I have seen people created a reality for themselves. It's like back in the day when, for example, somebody says Banjul International Airport is the best airport in Africa. I've had folk, like that has been, that's on GRTS. You cannot count how many times it's said on GRTS. But, I mean.
And the strange thing is how many Gambians use the airport. Let's just, obviously it's crazy, it's ridiculous.
But it was a lie.
It's a lie, yeah. But what value is that lie for us as Gambians?
But people still believe things like
it's crazy.
What I'm trying to say, Joseph, how do we create a society? I mean, it's good if we have politicians, and I'm not bothered about that. But how do we create a society of people who question everything? You know, when somebody says something, before they jump at it, it doesn't matter if the person is Mandinka and you are Mandinka, Jola and you are Jola, Aku, you are Aku, Serer and you are Serer, Muslim and you are Muslim, Christian and you are Christian. It doesn't matter, but how do we build a citizenry where people acquire sense and critique everything anyone says?
Our education system is very important, because these are not things that we can just deal with after the fact, after people have been chucked with a lot of useless information. From a young age, NCCE has a very important role to play. The media itself even. A media which doesn't question anything, that reports anything, then the people are just taking in anything.
Okay, so for example, let's look at this particular case. Jammeh said that he has credible evidence that Gambia's how do you call it? Gambia's oil is being exploited by Senegal. Okay, now let's give it a moment and let's say, suppose this is true. How do we not know that?
When he says, well, he said he has credible evidence, but he has not presented this evidence.
Yeah,
that's one thing.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So I'm very much wary when people say something but they don't present the evidence.
Yeah,
like it's as if you, Mustafa Dabo, come out with a headline, but then there's no story. Okay.
But how much do you think okay, let's suppose that Barrow, okay, this deal was made by the coalition according to Jammeh. Let's suppose that Barrow, Dabo, Khalifa, and all these people were in it at that time, back in the coalition agreement, and they allowed Senegal to just go ahead and exploit it. Now they've split, and so I suppose Barrow will be taking his share from the oil money.
You see, I think...
How does this work? Like how?
No. I think
I'm an investigative journalist,
that does
and
not
I
make
deal
sense
with
at all. It
I
doesn't
deal
make,
with facts.
That
I
does
deal
not
with
make sense.
coherence. But I sit down and think about it. When I was at Malagan was the time somebody brought this case to me.
So I actually have looked into this thing a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And what I can tell you, where our oil is and Senegal, they are not that far.
They're very close, yes.
They are very close.
Yes.
Right? Then oil is not as if they respect borders.
Yes.
The oil does not say, hey, this is this Gambia-Senegal border.
Yeah.
I have to stop.
Yeah.
And then another place, then the oil continues. No.
Yeah.
So pretty much, when you look at the schematic,
yeah,
right, it goes down until a point.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't go down further.
Yeah.
But if it goes down further, you will see that we are pretty much sharing the same potential.
Yeah.
All right?
So if they have, it's likely we have.
Exactly. It's as if, for example, you see this plant, and this is the straw.
Yeah.
This is where you are sucking the oil from.
Yeah.
And then the border is in between here.
Yeah.
And there's another straw here. Now, if I take my straw first.
Yes.
If I take my straw first.
You will be sipping
and I put it inside.
My zone
and
also.
I start sucking the oil.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't it the same oil?
That's going to come from my end.
This is what is happening to Gambia.
But if those things are happening,
yes,
countries, they go and sit down and they negotiate and they share.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, how was it possible, or how is it possible that issue cannot be brought up by the Gambia's Ministry of Energy?
That's the question that we should be asking ourselves.
Yeah.
Our people competent enough to...
Because this issue of the nearness of the two oil wells, it's a matter of sat image. Anybody can just look at it on the satellites.
Of course.
Okay, it's super easy to do that.
Yeah.
Now, to go and confirm that yes, indeed, the location of the oil wells had provided Senegal the opportunity, the proximity to be able to steal our own or oil from our own environment. That's not necessarily the smoking gun.
We have to monitor. You see, that's the thing. Monitoring is very, very important because of once you monitor, say we are monitoring what is in our area, the amount, and over time you can see it is depleting, then you have an argument.
But how do we need a change of presidency to just be able to do that elementary thing?
Exactly. That's not...
Like, how can we not come...
It does not need a change of presidency. And let's talk about this oil thing holistically.
Yeah.
How many barrels of oil has Gambia benefited from previous government during Jammeh's era? And that has been, even from Nigeria, that have been pumping oil into Gambia.
And that was subject of Jammeh Commission.
Yes, this is exactly what I mean. So, but then this is the hypocrisy. I'm sorry to say. I don't like using that word, but I must. Because of the same person who was looting those funds, right? Oil, right, is now complaining that another country is pumping oil from there. For me, I don't know what the law says.
But do you think that, I mean, I am still looking into this, the viability, the possibility, because like I said, I think that we all know the location of the oil wells.
Exactly.
Okay, and like I said, it's easy to confirm that, the locations through sat images. But we need to further interrogate the evidence. Okay? So, and in the absence of cross-checking that evidence, we probably should move on to something else. The issue of TRRC, the issue of human rights violations. Because yesterday I was on TikTok and I had folks say, to refer to TRRC, that they said Jammeh has killed. Has that gotten to, was that what the facts were. Like, was it they said, or was that Data Hyder was actually killed? Because no one said Data was killed. Data was killed. I mean, it's almost as though you desensitized yourself from a situation.
Yeah.
And now you are pushing it onto somebody else.
So if you listen to what some of these people are saying, you will just believe that somebody just got up and went and did these things without Jammeh giving any order. In some instances, it's just crazy thinking in my perspective, because if such was happening in your country and you are the president, you have every responsibility to hold those people to account. We have seen commissions there that have been established only to thwart the very essence of their establishment. April 2000, for example, commission that was set up to investigate what happened. And what happened? To just give these people blanket immunity. You see, so there are too many evidences. And for me, one of the saddest is the Ghanaians, the West African migrants. You understand? Because these people are not even Gambians. They are our brothers and sisters. So many times, it's unfortunate. It hurts when a Gambian life is important. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But, we call this the smiling coast of Africa or West Africa.
Mm-hmm. Smiling coast of Africa.
But still, people
I
when they come here.
I think it is, though. I mean,
people when they come here.
I think it is. We are smiling coast of Africa.
But that smiling coast slaughtered over 44.
Yeah, that doesn't stop it from being a smiling coast. And also, part of the thing is that we are the mouse. Mm-hmm. We are like a small mouse.
Yeah, no, when you draw it, it's a very fanciful. But is it a frown or is it a smile? You think about
well, the mouth is open.
Yes.
Because it's a river, and the river was like the mouth of Africa.
Yes, exactly.
And
well, Senegal say we are the tongue, they are the mouth, isn't it? Or whatever. But come on this issue that you are talking about. There is no way that these things could have been happening. I mean, Jammeh literally had a killing squad called the Junglers. Right?
And that is something that it's fundamental to talk about. So, for example, if you looked at, I've had folks say that, so for example, on the Jawara, you have incidents when people died. So, for example, you had 1981, okay? And on the Barrow, you have Faraba incident, for example. And you have also this recent case of one young man, Omar Baji, being killed by the police. And you have a number of incidents where there were, here and there incidents.
But they are totally different from this whole Jammeh issue. Jammeh literally had a killing squad. These people were killing to get paid. In some instances, the people who they killed, like the West African migrants, they even took money from them.
Yes.
So these people.
Now you remember what Malik Jatta said when he talked about the West African migrants.
Yeah.
And
incredible.
No, I think when he talked about Deda's case, when he said after we killed them, we scored, I think he said we scored $1,000.
Yes. It's a kill for pay. So, and who was providing that money? This money was not just coming from thin air. It did not come through pay slips or whatever. They were given by the former president, Jammeh.
Or was it not? I mean, because I think about it in this way. Like, was it not the first time in the history of this country that you have someone, a kill squad, reporting to a president? Like, because on the Jawara, I mean, there was 1981. But there was never an incident that there was some kind of a group that goes and knock people's door and arrest them and disappear at night.
It was a system. And this system, these killers, they also work with the NIA. The NIA would be responsible for extracting information.
Yeah.
And if you did not give them the right information, they fed you to the junglers. I was at the trial of Michael Correa, one of the junglers, when the whole system of how the junglers operate was laid out. The victims, how they would be brought before the panel. Police would be there, NIA would be there, all the security apparatus, high brass, they would be there to interrogate you. And if you don't say what they want to hear, they fed you to the junglers. So the junglers would now have the dirty job to do. And over there, you will speak. Because if you don't speak, in fact, not speaking was not an option because it's very clear what would happen. So, but those things never existed. Not in the Jawara days. And the first thing, obviously the jungler was disbanded. They themselves fled, right? Then the NIA no longer
Some of them fled, some stayed back.
Some stayed back, you see. Then the NIA, what happened to them?
Do you think there was any opportunity that Oya, Malik Jata and others, what they were saying is not true? Aliu Jeng and others?
There's what you call corroborative evidence.
Yeah.
You come in a room here, right? And you ask me about what was said outside, somebody outside about what was said.
Yes.
One person is telling you, oh, this never happened, this. And then two of us are telling you that this is what happened.
Yeah.
The common sense dictates. Obviously, they can connive.
And Joseph, they were telling us stories of people whose faces we know. So the Hydra is not some fictitious character.
Exactly.
Or Haruna Jammeh or Malik, or let's say Masi Jammeh or Ndongom Bubo. They are not fictitious characters. They existed.
And some of it, the way that they did it was just so brazenly open. Take, for example, the witch hunting exercise that was done.
Yeah.
Some of these things, you cannot even, there is no way for people to even sort of wriggle out that Jammeh was not involved. You understand?
But this was happening because and in fact, people who were talking, they know this happened. And that's what I was telling you about the Gambia. Like, how do you build a republic with a person like that? Like somebody who desensitized himself from truth at all. So, for example, when witch hunting was happening, but at daytime, people flock in Dar Silam Sangajor, the Sirif Kunda people who are there. Because, of course, Jammeh's Marabu was there back in the time. A friend of mine who is a native of that village tells me people come here at daytime. At daybreak, they go back to their residences. So at night, they go back. At daytime, they go to Dar Silam. That is how they were during the time of the entire period.
Of course. And some people...
To escape from...
Of course. This is like... And the crazy thing is, I want to believe these things, they only happen back in the days of the kings. When they would say that they are
Europe
going to
used
purge.
to have Europe used to have
right.
the purges of the witches, yes, the
great
witches,
yes, these are
they used to have.
To say that these kind of things was happening in this modern day and age, I mean, it's
and still supported.
Crazy, and then they are still having huge supporters. I mean,
something is wrong with our. Do you think our politicians? Do you think we are bewitched?
But, as much as you and I are not in support and definitely can highlight so many wrong violations.
This cuts across across the entire political spectrum.
Yes, but some people can say it's because of Jammeh they have got X or Y or this education or they have got that and this and that. And I can understand some, but for me, the ones that is most baffling is those people who they have not benefited anything and they are still in major support.
Yeah, but even not just Jammeh. I mean, if you cut across from Jammeh, you go to Usainu, or you go to Barrow,
you find
or you go to Halifa, or you go to Sidia.
Everywhere.
You find the same.
They are everywhere. They just feel.
Do you think we are bewitched? Do they go to Marabo to bewitch people?
I don't think that. I think that these people there, they was bewitching themselves.
You think so?
Misery loves company. I cannot understand. It just does. It baffles me and rational thinking. But it's obvious that there must be some sort of gravitas It's like, I call it the minion mentality.
Also,
Minions.
yeah.
You know, minions.
Yeah.
In the Despicable Me.
Yeah.
They are always looking for the next boss.
Yes.
And the badder, the more terrible the
boss,
the more they are like, closer. They want to be to appeal, to make this boss feel
because people tend to like someone who, so they tend to salute the one they perceive to be better than them.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
powerful.
So yes, more powerful and stuff like. Do you think that's what's gravitating?
In fact, there are theories about it, psychological theories about this. I don't know what one was, something Sweden, something victim mentality.
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome. Even you can be so violated that even those who violate you start to love. You want to don't want them to anything to happen to those guys.
Let's look at even the myth of a hero. Who is a product of your wealth. Okay, so for example, Barrow. Okay, so Barrow is powerful. No, Barrow is the queen of the beehive. He's not powerful. Okay, Barrow is it's your power, the power you create. He's not powerful. Okay, he's a mirror reflecting your own self. Okay, because that's how the republic is created. So the structure of governance, the total power Barrow wills, it is some total of the collection of all our powers. So Jammeh, for example, is not powerful. He has the military. The military is yours. Okay? The police is yours. The government is yours. But even if he personalizes it, in fact, the tax that is feeding him is yours.
Yes.
So it's not powerful.
People don't see that. People don't see that.
But he is not himself powerful.
For example,
your power.
Let me give you, for example, like you see the president does the Meet the People's Tour.
Yeah.
Right? And then they would take the taxpayers' money and then they would do, give to women for women empowerment. They personalize it.
Yeah.
They say it's coming from...
And like they said, Barrow gave 1 million to Mama Jabi.
You see?
And we later came to realize actually it was money from the state.
But this is exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
Why they personalize what is the state, turn it into something that is theirs. And then what happens? People feel like they owe these people for some strange reason, not realizing that this is taxpayers' money.
But Joseph, can we build a state with this kind of status quo?
No, we need to change the mindset of Gambia.
How do you do that?
I hope that we are doing that bit by bit. I hope that you are playing your part. I can see that. I hope that I'm playing my part.
Look, Joseph, Americans played their part. They have Trump right now.
Yes.
And Trump.
Exactly.
Now it's more like a prophet.
It's a warning. I always don't... For me, I feel, okay, one can say America is I don't see them as the model democracy at all. Especially right now, considering what they are going through, right? But I feel that democracy has to be in the making of that country. You get what I mean? Like Gambia has to create its own democracy.
Well, how do you create a democracy without creating a citizen who interrogates everything? Without dismantling subservience?
That's very, very difficult to do. And that's the society has to build that up. It's not a job that one person can do at all. It starts what I said, education. NCCE is very important.
But NCC is a product of state that is teaching people how to obey the state.
And this is the problem. But it should not be like that. It should not be like this. But then when NCCE has to go around and the Constitution, that's what they have to, project out there. This is why the Constitution for me is the fundamental foundation of our democracy. And from there, we build on it.
So if you look at, for example, Jammeh's last audio where he's talking about this coming. Now, of course, we can talk about the coming itself. I mean, I know when Jammeh's mother passed away, may God bless her soul, Jammeh communicated according to what the government said, the message to some presidents, and these presidents communicated the message to Macky Sall, who actually communicated to Barrow. And then the mother came back and then was buried. I remember Fawaka Tombonjata issued a statement about that back in the time. But do you think if Jammeh were to come, this is how he would have just say, I'm going to be at the airport? Is that how it works?
Well, I think to put things in perspective, this is not the first time Jammeh is saying he's going to come back. But there's something a bit different this time. Because he's given that in November, and today is 1st of November. Okay? So at any time, Jammeh can come. Okay? But not only did he say that, which is different, he did also say, delegate those who would be responsible for even announcing when he would come. He gave some names, right? And I'm sure those people, they might be hearing from the authorities.
Do you think? But Barrow said he has received no communication. He has received no communication.
Yeah, no, but what I mean,
he is not involved in this process.
But Barrow can say that, but that does not mean that he will not, the SIS or the institutions would not be interrogating those people who mentioned that they would be the ones to announce. I don't know if you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah,
I
understand. Now,
yes,
the state can do a proactive work. Yes. Proactive work.
I will not be surprised if they are.
Yeah, but the state can do a proactive. So, in the first place, a plane cannot leave Equatorial Guinea and having Jammeh on board without the state knowing. That cannot happen.
Really?
The state, the Equatorial Guinea will inform the Gambia government.
They have to. But that's if they tell them who is actually inside the plane.
But how can you put Jammeh on the plane and not tell Gambia government that we are bringing Jammeh? That it doesn't work like that.
I don't know.
They have Equatorial Guinea and Gambia has established diplomatic relations. You cannot put Jammeh on board a plane and not notify your country, a partner country, that this person is coming. And there has to be preparations for this. Because when Jawara was away, there were preparations before Jawara came. In fact, he was contacted. In fact, Jawara was giving opportunity to do due diligence. That is why Jawara said in his book, after he got contacted, he contacted loyal folks like OJ and others. To say, well, I've got this offer. Do you think the military is serious? And, all of that. So he conducted due diligence. So he was given time. So there was a communication between Jawara and the military and Jammeh at that time. But in this case, I'm telling, according to Barrow, there is just no communication between the two.
Yes, well, not now. It might be eventually. You don't know.
But Flex, there has to be communication between them before the flight leaves, that preparations are ahead of time.
Yes, I'm not saying that they are not having they are having communication or they are not having. But obviously the president has said that they are not having any communication.
No, he said.
But that would have been as at that time.
Yes.
You understand? And November is the whole, if come the end of November and nothing happens, then Jammeh's credibility will be very much.
But the point also is, Jammeh and the Jawara situation differs a bit. It differs in the sense that Jammeh is saying he's coming back to be president again.
Yes, and he even said that those who are no longer loyal to him or who had left him will no longer be given positions. So he feels that it's his choice who is going to be where when he returns. He even went to the extent of saying that they will know who owns the country, him or.
But he doesn't also seem to recognize the legitimacy of the administration of the sitting president. I mean, for example, you and I disagree a lot with Barrow. I disagree with almost all political leaders in this country, even though I'm not a politician, in terms of my area, which is anti-corruption work. But I consider myself in service to the state, which is in service to the president.
Of course.
But Jammeh doesn't seem to recognize the legitimacy of the president.
Yes, that's the arrogance.
Well, but that is also problematic in the affairs of the state, isn't it?
Yes, that gives Barrow a big challenge. I mean, but I think that's just Jammeh's character.
So if you
that's his personality.
So if you are to
I can never see Jammeh sharing power.
So let's assume that Jammeh comes right now, okay?
Yes.
Okay, and he goes to Kanilai, okay? And under the current arrangement, Barrow is the president, so Jammeh comes. So if Jammeh comes, you are going to give him security, right? So the first issue is that there are people who think that Jammeh killed their people, okay? And there are people first in the military who Jammeh claimed, who said Jammeh has hurt them, and now they are reappointed in the military. They will be uneasy. Okay? Barrow himself, who Jammeh claimed has stolen elections from him, it's going to be problematic. He will be uneasy. Barrow is also whining and dining with people. We'll come to implications of that. But Barrow is whining and dining with people who were Jammeh's former allies, and Jammeh now considers them to have betrayed him. They will be uneasy. How does this work?
It's a mess. I think the only way this works to a conclusive end is they put the mechanisms in place for the prosecution of Jammeh.
How do you put that kind of mechanism? Because you're not even, you even having an internal crisis you are not able to resolve. Like, how do you?
Yeah, so what I mean by that, they might need to work with other countries. That's why the ECOWAS agreement is in place, because they have options for prosecution. One of them is to prosecute where possible in the country. Another one is to prosecute outside the country. And that's a possibility. So, but I don't think they have put in all the preparation for all of that to take place right now. And that, for me, is the challenge that the government finds.
So let's look at the issue of Jammeh's coming and his residence in Kanilai, for example, at his residence. Okay. So I listened to some people who said, well, this is a former head of state, like it happened with Jawara, so Jammeh should come and, rest in Kanilai. So if you have Jammeh in Kanilai, I also listened to another person who said that Gambian army from warrant officers to the private are all loyal to Jammeh. He said, and those are the fighting forces. But yet he is asking Barrow to bring Jammeh, okay? Which sounds to me like a trap. Okay, so, but anyway, so he said that. But then, if you bring Jammeh and you give him security, and of course you're going to give him security, like I said, there are people who still accuse him of killing their own brothers, and people who have attacked Jammeh when he's in military.
Let alone now that
he's a president. They assemble themselves and come and attack him. Yes. So, let alone now he's not a president. You are going to have to protect him. But you also have to protect yourself from him. Because if Jammeh is in Kanilai, which is a very big place, and of course you have junglers who are at large, and junglers, naturally, they share fate with Jammeh, so they are one and the same. So how do you prevent junglers first from using Kanilai as a sanctuary? And if you are not able to prevent junglers to use Kanilai as a sanctuary, how do you contain Jammeh in Kanilai with junglers on his side?
Yeah, I think that gives the government a headache, a security headache. And this is one of the reasons why I want to believe that they would proactively be engaging those people right now before Jammeh just comes. I don't think that they would want that to happen.
But not just government a security headache. So, for example, come to think of it, back in the day, this is not just hearsay, because I looked into it, I investigated it. There is evidence of complicity by Gambia into illegal timber trade, and illegal timber traders are directly working with rebels. Okay? And Senegal considers this as illegal financing of rebellion. Of course, this happened even under Barrow. We just did a story on it. I did an investigation into this in 2022. Now, the state was complicit, and Jammeh was also complicit. I mean, we know the story of Westwood. They were right in operating in the airport. You can still use Google Earth and look at satellite imagery of Westwood right at the airport. Now, so that makes it not a hearsay. Now, you have that person with that suspicious relationship. And Senegal is very uncomfortable with that.
Of course.
Okay, now this is not to say I care about Senegal or what Senegal thinks, but this is cordial relationship with a neighbor with whom you share almost the same economy, just as you share the same economy with Guinea-Bissau and others. Okay, so this also is another layer of problem, isn't it?
That's why I don't think that they would allow it to get to that stage. I think it would definitely not make any sense to allow Jammeh, if they were even going to give him security or whatever, it would have to be an undisclosed location. It cannot be in Kanyilai, where obviously he has, support. His strongest support is.
But Jammeh is not saying he wants to be in an undisclosed location.
Yeah, but it's not about what he wants. You see, I think that it's gone beyond what he wants now. It's what can he actually even get. You understand? Because for me, one reason why I say something, I would say this. We still have economic here. There's only
though to a very limited number.
Yes, but they are still here.
Yeah.
Now, the only reason why economic did come here was because of what? Jammeh. Yeah. So if Jammeh was to try to come, I don't think he has the required operations, security-wise, right, to force himself back into Kanyilai. And this government will not allow him to go to Kanyilai.
But
I don't believe they would. If they did.
So where would they take him?
And I want to believe they will not. That's not something that they will want to announce. Oh, Jammeh we are taking him to X, Y, and Z.
One of the NIA safe houses are not convenient. They are not convenient for Jammeh because NIA safe houses are usually apartments. You can't have a former president in an apartment.
Well, I don't know what they're gonna do.
Like when I said an apartment, I mean they are small compounds, usually not big, large. Like in Kanyilai, you have a large, many-acre land. And
but I think this is a fallacy. This is a fallacy. Jammeh thinks that he's going to come and then be the leader, be in Kanyilai, orchestrate things, control who gets into positions. These are all, for me, this is not possible.
But how do you now, Joseph, we are going into an elections, and as we are talking about it, what do you think went into Barrow's mind when he formed an alliance with APRC?
I feel that I don't know what was going through his mind.
Do you think it was fear?
I want to believe that
it was fear.
By then he had already surrounded himself with a number of APRC.
No, but that happened later. It was the divorce with the UDP first.
Okay.
Then he gravitated towards the APRC.
Yes, that's what I mean. So by the time he was gravitating towards APRC, that time, it was previous to the elections, right? Okay. So
it was in preparation of 2020.
In preparation of, yes. But Jammeh's arrogance made him, like I said, he cannot share. Jammeh is not the sharing type. He's not going to share. So for me, I was so glad that he even rejected the overtures of the current.
But the point is, well, I'm not sure whether you should be glad or not.
Yes.
But the point is, do you think that, I mean, what do you think Barrow could have offered Jammeh? Do you think at that time Barrow thought Jammeh is finished? He doesn't want to be president again. He's a retired former president, and that's sufficient for him?
I don't know what the former president, Barrow was thinking to even contemplate going into some sort of an alliance.
Yeah, but we know that Barrow was also afraid of losing power And he knew if I lose UDP, which was becoming apparent, okay, I needed a political home. I needed to create another front to be able to counter the UDP, to be able to win them. And so we know it's fear. But what do you think he thought he could offer Jammeh?
I don't think he thought it through. I really don't think he thought it through. Yeah. Like a lot of decisions that they've made have been very questionable, politically wise. I felt he just thought that he could get Jammeh's base, but he wasn't looking at the consequences.
But do you think also, but in any case, he lost fundamentally significant amount of Jammeh's base. The hardcore Jammeh base, he lost it.
Yes.
Do you think it was then a miscalculation? Could he have secured this even without gravitating towards Jammeh?
I think that perhaps that's what he should have considered, you know, but I still think he won around that time at least, yeah, significant support besides, you know, because it seemed as if he was cozying up to Jammeh and some of the things like visiting the family and all of those kind of things. You know our people and how you understand, how they think. So I feel that those are some of the things that perhaps helped him. But clearly, I don't think Jammeh is thinking of sharing. His perspective is, it's a fantasy. It's not a reality.
So what do you think must have been going through right now the minds of folks like Fawaka Tombonjata and Rambo Jata and all these guys? Because they seem to be divided. I mean, I don't think they are going through any form of divided loyalty right now. I think they are super Barrow, and that's it.
Well, if you put your shoes in their shoes, feet in their shoes, it's obvious that, you know, I mean, one is a dictator who might feel that you have, what's it called? Betrayed him. Yeah. And he's already saying those who are, you know, not who weren't loyal to him, obviously, that is those who hijack his party in his perspective, because it's his party. Yeah. Though they will not be given positions. Clear where their loyalties are going to be.
And Tombong is currently the third most powerful person
in the country,
in the republic.
So you see, he would obviously be very happy to stay with Barrow. Even those who were former Jammeh supporters, they would certainly be much more comfortable.
Also, let's look at the morality of Barrow saying he's going to hold Jammeh to account. Now, how do you hold the military section? Because if Jammeh's system was such that he had run two parallel systems. One is the one that Aissatou said he was presiding over. That's the civilian administration. Like she said herself, Jammeh takes care of his own security for himself.
Okay.
And so the other is what Jammeh was in charge of, which is, of course, in charge of the civilian, but he was also in charge of the military. And so when this guy, Fabakary and others, so for example, are going to consider right now about what to do, what do you think was going to go into their minds? Like, you know, what would they be thinking? Like, if Jammeh comes, what's going to happen to us? And again, Barrow would have to decide what to do, okay, to go ahead with that civilian, like let's say civilian supporters of Jammeh and whatever was happening under his rule, which is Fawaka Tombonjata, Sirinjai and all the rest, and yet attempting to punish the military side of things. Like, what's the morality of that?
I think I'm glad that you said morality. That's a moral question and a moral conundrum. The TRRC has not indicted them, right?
Yeah.
So I know people have been trying to make comparisons. But for me personally, and for those of us who are obviously pro-human rights, we have a fundamental problem with that, because it was the Fabakary and those who put that motion to create the impasse that led to the whole thing unraveling. So in one way or the other, they have they have an inherent responsibility. And there are many things that they've done, right, where they should not be in the current government, clearly. But the president will say, and the government will obviously say, they have not broken any laws, or they have not been, indicted at the TRRC. Although others will say that there are some who have been indicted by the Jammeh Commission and they've been brought and put in the government. You see, so this government has not helped itself or covered itself in any glory to be able to be seen to be impartial with the way that they are going to deal with Jammeh and even...
But with the circumstances as it were in 2018-20, what would you have expected Barrow to do?
Follow the recommendations of the commissions, impartially, implement them. This is what his promise was all about. The 3 years was all about that, right? I mean, and the coalition promises that are there, many of them have still not been implemented. You know, give us a new constitution. They fought it the first time. You understand? You know, which was the foundation. We come back to that. And that would have helped a lot. You know, and then the rest of the Jammeh Commission recommendations, implement them. Not this selective. Then he would have the moral fortitude. Then Jammeh would know that this guy is very serious. I cannot just walk in like that. I cannot come and project a false narrative that people cannot swallow, because that's not what they are seeing.
So, you know, another layer of this problem, Joseph, and I like to think of myself as a Muslim, and I pray, and I think you also identify as a Christian, and I hope you go to church.
I do go to church.
Good. So, what I see in this society is, do you think this is a religious society? I mean, you look at our politics, like you look at Jammeh, he's talking about by the will of Almighty Allah. You look at all the others, they are talking, they are so manifestly religious. But look at the conduct of these people. Do you think this is a religious society? Does it come across like that?
You see, I'm glad that I'm now connected to the questions, like going to church, praying, and all of those things may make you religious, but that does not, you know, it's not what the whole religion is all about. It's what you do even after that. It's what you do when people are not watching.
Sincerity.
Yes.
In Islam, we say that. In fact, in Islam, they said that Allah accepts sincere worship. Isn't that, like, you know, when people they stand when they say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Auzu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim. In Islam, a sincere Muslim don't do that, because when you even say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, that is not between you and the audience. Yes, that's between you and God. And God hears a whisper.
So many of our people, they are not sincere. What they do is they project. You will see. He will come hold with
the kurus.
And that's what Jammeh used to do. He will have the Quran in one book.
It's not just Jammeh, Joseph. It's widespread in this society. Like,
this is exactly the thing. And they are manifesting what they are seeing. Look, this guy had some bottle concussion. Jammeh had this concussion with water. And he was pouring it, and religious leaders were jumping and trying to get hold of. Wow, I'm not a Muslim, but I know that there's something evidently wrong with that. What does Islam allow those kind of things?
Well,
you know, somebody is pouring water, and the religious leaders, they are jumping to go for it.
Let's quickly wrap this up, and I think I already kept you more than
way more
than I promised to, because I mean, this is a whole. I am very disillusioned about our state of affairs and our politics and our mindset, and people who think that how we conceive certain things, development, Pan-Africanism, all these things. I mean, you look at the kind of leaders we said have done well. Look at the indebtedness they have left us in poverty, I mean,
I was saying something. I can understand why you feel disillusioned.
Disillusioned,
but
totally.
I always say to myself, like, is these leaders, this is mediocrity. All these leaderships.
But that is provided because you are talking about leadership and mediocrity.
Mm-hmm.
But I am talking about what the people who they rule over, the level of the capacity.
The choice of our leadership is a reflection of the people. You get what I mean? As well. Huh? That's why you were asking me. When you talk about democracy, you ask me about why America and Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Because it reflects on the American people. You cannot fathom, you cannot understand.
Yesterday I saw a video, a military guy in Sudan.
Opening fire.
Yes, opening fire on somebody.
I saw it.
He felt he was still shooting him.
And laughing. And he was laughing as if it's some sort of a...
And if you ask him, he's either going to say this guy is a different ethnic group with me, or that he supports a different political leader, and a very senseless, ungodly person maybe. And
it's our mentality. You see, don't let anything go beyond you. I've seen some crazy things, right? When I was in the UK, I saw the English people vote against Brexit.
Yeah, Brexit, yeah.
Yes, to come out of Europe. Then the next day, most of them, almost all of them regretted it because they were fooled into it.
By a politician,
yes.
A populist.
Then the same thing, before you know it, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Donald Trump came in. So if those people...
build a Christian republic.
Imagine.
And Trump of all people.
Imagine.
We say that a Christian model.
And we consider
or a model of Christianity.
We at least, okay, let's not say that even they are epitome of democracy, but at least they are more informed. They made such decisions. Now, let's come to us, right? And some of the decisions that our people are making since independence, right? Some of the decisions that we've made, some of the leaderships that we've chosen. It just goes to show you our level of thinking, how we envisage democracy to be. It's a reflection of what we believe.
Just finally, Yusuf, a lot has happened. I mean, since in the last 9 years, you look at the media environment, there is a significant explosion. Now you have Kerfatu, an established media platform, Fatu Network, established, Star FM, all these TV stations, TikTokers, YouTubers, people making money off social media, left, right, and center, television, QTV, all these things. These were not happening. This is Jammeh days we were using Viber and WhatsApp. Now today, Gambia has literally become, on the Jammeh would have called this ungovernable. Okay? Now, of course, we have to look at time analysis. Okay? So Jammeh is a 60-year-old man. He's no longer that teenager, almost a teenager. When he came to power, he was 29 years old. He was no longer that vibrant teenager coming to power. Okay? He's 60-year-old now. Okay? With aching joints and bones.
And a lot of people don't see that. They have this picture of Jammeh gallantly coming in with some forces.
Like head of special forces, kicking the door and putting something here and here.
And then running Jammeh Barrow out of town. That's some perception some people have in their mind.
That would be interesting. But I mean, that happened. Not only the media landscape, the political landscape has also drastically changed. Now you have NPP. APRC is in the shadows, even though it still holds a significant sway. Okay? But it cannot elect, it could only elect 5 National Assembly members.
Yes. Which it will look like it's dwindling, but continue.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, you have GDC, all the other players, there's Afals. Now you have Talib Ben Sudan. So the atmosphere is becoming more, even in his own phone, you have Bakari Baji, okay, who was on this show and he had told me things have changed. He has moved on and
exactly, which is what I meant, yes.
Exactly. So if Jammeh comes to the Gambia, is he not coming to the Gambia? He is not going to recognize. Do you think he?
Yeah, I look at it from like when I was abroad.
Yeah.
You don't realize how much the country has changed until you come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and, I was saying Jammeh is homesick, right? Remember, this guy has denied many people from coming to the country, right? But he feels that he still has the power to come into the country whenever he feels like, and not only and even just to rule the country. He will be coming to a very unrecognizable country if he does come, right? But I believe most of all these things we're hearing from Jammeh,
all these protests that are happening,
is driven by homesickness.
But even all these protests that are happening, I mean, it's on daily basis. And government going to press conferences
to respond
to a protest. I mean, we have to also acknowledge how far we have come.
Yes.
And this is a significant step forward.
Yes.
I mean, compared to back in the time, you don't do protests. Now you are forcing government to come and respond.
Yes.
I mean, myself, government has taking up, no, not just responded, but taking up series of investigations I have done. Okay, including the Dr. Banja case, the Penny appeal, I can't even begin to count them.
Exactly.
Do you think that's, I mean, I have indicted literally Barrow in stories. Okay, his family members in stories.
Yep.
Okay, I work at the office until 8 p.m. and go home. Yeah, things have changed.
Of course.
It doesn't seem like Jammeh is coming to a Gambia that he knew.
He cannot.
Or do you think he's coming to Gambia he knew?
Well, he was the head of state. And being the head of state, you were the most informed person, right? But you are no longer the head of state and you are no longer the most informed person.
Do you think he's informed about the status?
He cannot be as he needs to be up to speed with what is happening. It's impossible.
I heard him talking about a tablet. The last one. I mean, we still use tablets, but there are TikToks now. There's everything. I mean, nobody uses Viber and mostly WhatsApp now. I mean,
no, Jammeh would be coming to a different Gambia. And a Gambia that I don't know whether he'd be even able to govern this Gambia if he tried.
Think about I mean, now the issue of even leaks are at a whole different level. Okay, in terms of investigative journalism. Now you have two specialized investigative journalism institutions in the Gambia. You have Malagan, you have the Republic, you have Askan with 3. You have fact-checking, If you said Banjul Airport is the most advanced airport in Africa,
you'd get fact-checked very quickly.
It's not just fact-checked by us.
Yes.
A teenager, 12 years old, is going to go to Google Earth and screenshot two airports and tell you, sir, are you sure?
Yes. How did you come to that conclusion?
Yeah, things have changed. I mean, society has changed.
And but Jammeh is still stuck in the past, in my view. He's still stuck in the past, and he feels that he's forgotten that the country, Gambia, is moving ahead without him. Gambia is moving ahead without him. Now, how can he get back to that Gambia? It's impossible.
And even the budget, even the terms of expenditure. I mean, when Jammeh left, the public debt was, of course, 100%, 58 billion, which was also the GDP, 58 billion, which was at the time $100 billion, $1 billion. And now the debt, the GDP is, of course, $2 billion, $2 billion. And the budget, the last budget Jammeh passed was around 10 billion, I remember, I think. Okay. I think he passed something like 12 billion. It was very high back then. And the coalition government came and revised it to something like 10 billion or 9 billion. Okay. They said, in fact, it was huge. Now we are talking about 50 billion.
Yes, 59, yeah.
59 billion to
crazy.
pass as the budget.
Yeah. And they make all kind of gymnastics in the budget now.
Yeah, so expenditure is at an extraordinary level. Even the taxes now, I mean, how much does DRA collect?
It's huge. It's huge.
It's twofold.
25. Their target was 25 billion for the end of the year.
It's 200+% than Jammeh used to collect.
And they are actually on track with collecting more than they, with regards to tax.
Things have to, but just one more thing. I keep saying just one more because this isn't. I was on TikTok and I see, quite frankly, I mean, our job is not to defend any government. I mean, I certainly probably never voted for Barrow, maybe.
We have to hold everybody.
Okay, but the point is, I mean, if you look at the kind of disinformation that's also going around, making it look like somehow Gambia has not moved. I mean, if you look at it even statistically, isn't it correct to say that Barrow appears to have done better than Jammeh on most score?
On the human rights score,
yeah,
they cannot be compared, right? One has disbanded junglers, or they don't have junglers. They've made the NIA not to have, arresting powers, etc. So they are no longer torturing people and killing people, right? Of course, security agents. Press freedom has improved, definitely. We
have democratic space.
There's the access to information. Just yesterday, I was saying that, but people still demand more.
Yes, but I know that that's a human thing, and I demand way more of Barrow than probably most.
That's the human, but the fact remains. We have the Access to Information Commission, for example, now. You understand?
Yeah.
And if you need information and you are not given, there are avenues to make sure that you get that.
Yeah.
This obviously for journalists, this is gold for us, right? Then of course you have NHRC, National Human Rights Commission.
Yes.
Me in particular, certain instances, I have security officers have violated the rights of citizens, and I have taken them there. The issue of Gorgimbu. I'm sure many people will remember.
Yes.
And there are many others that I have brought to the NHRC. So citizens are getting, redress. So it pales in contrast. But one of the things which I would say...
Think about, there's something also people do not talk about. There's a direct comparison between democracy and economic prosperity. Between human rights and economic prosperity. If you want to know that, look at the media landscape. How was your earnings and how is it now? Look at the media landscape.
Do you think that is better?
I think it's better.
Okay.
I mean, if you look at comparatively,
I was not here during the Jammeh.
It's way better.
So that's why I asked you that question.
It's way better.
Not
because for example, if you look at the media landscapes, okay, there was no Kerfatu TV, there was no Star TV, there was no QTV, because the space is shrinked. There was, of course, iAfrica and others who are doing modestly well.
Yes.
Okay? But if you look at it now, even the level of explosion in terms of content creators who are all independently earning hundreds of dollars, some even thousands of dollars, on paid advertisements by YouTube, by Google, by others, that's significant.
Of course.
That alone is not directly created by government, but it's a dividend of the democracy. Okay?
There are a lot of things that are even happening in Gambia because of the environment.
Yeah.
Like
the comedy space. You can make fun of the president. I mean, there are examples of this. People make fun of the president or anyhow. And of course, Barrow always tries to shrink this space.
Yes.
But he was never given an opportunity because, I mean, there are always people who are pushing back.
And that's the key, I think.
Exactly.
That's the key. People are pushing back. People are ready to push back.
Yeah. Well, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I lost my trail of thought.
Were you going to economic activity?
Yes, because I was trying to give the different landscapes and comparing both of the leadership of the previous president Jammeh and his current government. we've seen how this government, some of people will say it's political, and for me, I do agree. They've increased salaries, right? They've, and I did a publication on this. They've increased salaries, I think, at least twice or so.
Yeah.
At least twice or three
Even
times.
though I don't agree with the way they did the first one.
Me too, I don't agree. Especially the first one.
Yeah. The second one, they
more
did
so
it
was a little bit
based
better.
on...
Yes. So those are the lower
yeah.
would get more.
Yeah.
And then those, as you go up, would get less. Fine. That was, but the first time, it was just this blanket, which actually increases it increases the inequality.
Yeah.
So those are all things that happen.
And on the corruption front also, it's not doing well. Barrow is not doing well.
At all.
Of course, Jammeh also didn't do well.
But in fact, I wanted to say, at that time, they would say, at Jammeh time, corruption was centralized. But now, corruption is decentralized. So everybody is dabbling into it.
I didn't agree with that.
Yes.
I don't agree with that. I hear people say it a lot.
Yes.
But it was not centralized because, you see, there's a difference between everyone doing it, Barrow doing it and allowing everyone doing it. But Jammeh was not just corrupt. He was also, all others who were around him were also corrupt.
Yes, of course.
Mohammed Bazis, the Tony Gattas, and others.
That's true.
You know, the Tarek Musas and all those who were who were mentioned in the Jammeh Commission.
But that can also be considered as centralizing.
But
because it's not only one person, but them and their cabal. But outside their cabal now, you see, there's still a lot of corruption.
So, but it's still, we are still talking about pool of people on all sides.
Yes, yes.
So it's still decentralized.
Yes. So I think corruption.
So if you talk about the debt, for example, okay, Jammeh found $4 billion. He took it to 58 billion. The debt to GDP ratio when Jammeh left was 100%. To a point, Gambia was not credit worthy. It is when they came, the coalition came, they were advised to rebase the GDP, which essentially means to recalculate the GDP, which is a normal economic practice.
Yes.
So they recalculated and the GDP expanded by 2 billion and they said, okay.
And then that
brought the debt to GDP ratio down.
Yes.
Okay? So if you look at other things such as, for example, the economic growth, of course, we know the economic growth keeps fluctuating whether under Jammeh or under Barrow. If you look at the issue of inflation,
and for me, I have an issue with economic growth because economic growth, but where?
Yeah.
Is it?
It can be skewed. Sometimes there is no economic development, there is growth, but there is no economic development.
Yes. And where? So, and I feel
sometimes it's the rich who is growing.
This is exactly my issue. The rich are getting richer.
I know.
But then the poor people, they are getting poorer. Yes. So fine, the growth is not coming into the pockets of the poor people.
Look, in 2015, there was something called Multidimensional Poverty and Inclusive Growth Report. The report was that a child born in rural Gambia is 73%, 3 times likely to be poor than a child born in urban area. Okay? So poverty, half of this population was still under poverty, and significant was still under not just poverty, but chronic poverty, which is $2 a day. Of course, under Barrow, we've seen there was a 5% increase. Now, but Gambia was still fundamentally, it was a poor, it's called HIPIC countries. It was still highly indebted poor country.
Yes, highly poor and indebted country.
If you rule a country for 22 years and it's still highly indebted poor country, you can hardly call yourself a good leader.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Add the human rights violations on top of that.
Yeah, so if you look at it even comparatively between Jammeh and Barrow, I mean objectively, and you look at the data objectively, it seems to be the case that Barrow has done way better than Jammeh.
Oh yes.
On almost all fronts.
I would agree, but not enough still. And this is
not enough. You and I are on the same score on that.
Perfect.
I mean, I'm an anti-corruption activist.
Yeah,
I publish every day about...
I think then that we're saying the same thing. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Because of Jammeh, come on. Anybody who meant well would have done way better than Jammeh. Could do way better than Jammeh. I think he did very well for himself. This guy left with cargo ships full of what? Vehicles and all manner of luxuries. The first one went Nobody stopped it. The second one is when they had to say, no. This cannot continue.
But they still didn't. There's still a mess regarding assets of the former president.
Of course. A big mess.
And of course, there is something I have a problem with in the Gambia: clarity. Okay. So, for example, if I have a problem with Jammeh, if he has done something right, like for example, or built a hospital, he has given some rights, he has built IEC, he has built GPPA, okay? He has built certain institutions. I cannot acknowledge that. That's also a problem, right?
Of course.
So, but there is also this kind of problem in the Gambia, lack of clarity. So, for example, if you messed up with what government forfeited assets from Jammeh, and they messed up with it.
Big time. Big time.
That also is a thing of its own, for which we have to hold Barrow to account.
Thank you.
Right.
Exactly. This is exactly the...
But that's independent of what Jammeh had done.
Completely. And this is what baffles me with our thinking.
Yeah.
Now, they would use the whole assets of Jammeh as a reason why Jammeh, if he comes back, these people, they will run away.
Yeah.
They are scared.
Yeah.
And they will come up with this whole narrative that is evidence why Jammeh is better than the current government. Does not make sense.
But even more that, I mean, I hear folks, like I said, TikTok was very revealing for me yesterday. I have folks say, when Jammeh was here, people were killing left, right, and center when Jammeh was here. But deaths do happen here. To a point, Jammeh makes public declaration that if anybody kills, he will kill you. That was happening.
Yes. He said all kind of... Jammeh just got up one day
and said that I will
kill these people in mile 2.
But do you not think
if I don't kill them, I will drink pork and eat I will eat pork and drink alcohol. And he killed those people.
But doesn't go to what do you think we will do, Joseph? Because finally, what do you think we can do with our politics? Because it seems to come down to that. I mean, UDP people sees nothing wrong with UDP. Nothing, not ever. APRC people don't see anything wrong with APRC. Nothing, not ever. NPP people, we just recently published a story. People were left, right, and center questioning our independence, everything. They don't see anything with NPP. Nothing, ever. Like, in a situation like that, how can you have progress?
Yes, it's difficult because we live in a world and day and age now of disinformation and misinformation, which just does not help with clarity at all.
Yeah.
But we must continue doing what we are doing, us journalists, us activists and advocates, because, whatever we are doing, our aim is to make sure that it stands the test of time. We reveal the truth. We hold the government accountable. Just like you were saying, President Barrow has to be held accountable. Whoever comes next after him has to be held accountable.
Two.
So
and
it does
even
not mean that
Barrow also to account.
Yes, it does not. It does not mean that we hate Barrow.
Yeah.
It does not mean that we like the new guy.
Yeah.
No. It just means that is our role and that's our responsibility.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the Gambian psyche earlier.
Yeah.
The fact that there will be citizens out there who, when we are trying to hold the government accountable, they actually feel offended.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
It tells a lot about us, who we are. You understand? And these are the major challenges, right? We must just continue doing what we have to do.
Yeah.
Hold this government accountable. Hold any government accountable. There will continue to be people who will come and say, not in my name. If you say somebody comes else and says 3 years, somebody will say 5 years. That's the polarized.
But I agree with that. But this is just a final question, I promise.
Okay.
How do we create? For me, what I'm trying to reach at is a citizen, okay? Someone who can support Hussein, support Barrow, support Yaya Jammeh, support whoever you want to support, and yet has the critical mind to assess evidence, to say, if you are wrong, yes, you are wrong, sir. This one you are wrong, go and fix it. Okay? This one you are correct, I'm supporting you. This one, you are wrong. Go and fix it. Okay? If it is Adam Barrow, Mr. President, you're wrong here. Go and fix it. That is who a citizen is. Like, how do you create that person? Like that, a person who is not a robot, it's not a dummy. It's not somebody who is coded something into. Okay? Like somebody who questions. That's what I mean. Like, how do you create
our
that
education
pool?
system is so must. Here, you go to school, you are given information to cram and regurgitate. You are not, if you start asking too much questions, why, you'll be in trouble with your teacher. So, education is so important. Having a critical mindset, critical thinking, encouraging young people to question, ask questions about everything. Don't just believe or just be gullible. You see? So I believe also there are a number of changes we as Gambians, you know, I don't want to say, we have to put the country first, national interest ahead of tribe, you know, personality politics. These are our vices, you see? So unfortunately, the Gambian today, I went to an interview yesterday. The guy asked me about myself. I explained and I described. Later on, when I was watching the interview, I realized that I didn't even say my tribe.
I know.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So we need to get to that stage.
What do you think, Joseph? I mean, I said I was going to know. But the tribe, we just blame the tribe. Okay? As far as I'm concerned, I've had a session with Mahdi on this. The tribe is a victim. Okay? So, for example, if I am the president, I am Mandinka by ethnicity. Okay?
Yeah.
I go to Mandinkas and say, "Nyo Fasa, appoint me." They appoint me, I become president. Okay? Now, the best way any normal sense would tell you to help a Mandinka is to build Nawek, right? Because if you build Nawek, it means that there are 800,000 Mandinkas who are going to have access to energy, electricity. They're going to sleep well, they're going to get to work, they're going to do everything. Okay? That's the radical thing. So I handpick one Mandinka who is incompetent to Nyofasa him. I appoint him as the MD of NAWEC. He wrecks NAWEC. His family gets paid. He sends his wife abroad. He sends his children abroad. He gets paid. He hired 10 other Mandinkas, and they created a Mandinka Republic in NAWEC. Right? There are 800,000 plus Mandinkas in the Gambia. In the Gambia. Yes. They are suffering because there is no light. So there is no such thing called Mandinka Fasa in state. It's a lie. The same thing applies to Jola or to Serer or Wolof or Fula. You can only hire 40,000 people in Gambia government. 40,000. You see? Okay? In any government that comes to power can only change directors and ministers. Okay? You cannot change the technocrats. So you cannot build a fuller government or a Jola government. You can just use this as an excuse to destroy the government and ruin the lives of Jolas and Mandinkas and Fullers.
What is a tactic that has worked? You see, since post-independence, religion, tribe, has been used in our politics. You understand? And that has continued. That has only been more entrenched. The more and more we go.
Yeah, but it takes us back to the issue of creating a critical mind.
This is exactly where we're coming from.
When you come and tell me, Fasa me as a Mandinka to vote for you.
Exactly.
I don't ask you, okay, fine. You know, Gambia is a collective investment and therefore...
Because you don't question.
Yes, so I don't question. So what is in it for me?
You see?
I don't question that.
Yes.
So for example, Jammeh was driving a Rolls Royce, not just a Rolls Royce, a customized Rolls Royce, millions of dollars worth, right? A custom build takes it to a factory, they build it for you, they inscribe names of your family and children. So he was driving through, have you ever been to Kanilai?
Yes, I've been to Kanilai.
It's poverty stricken. He was driving through poor roads, poverty-stricken communities
With those vehicles.
into his eco lodge. Essentially, Jammeh's residence in Kanlaj is an eco lodge. But the folks who were in that neighborhood, who they said, Jola government, and everybody is blaming them.
Yes.
Okay?
They are big supporters of him.
Yeah, but they have not interrogated
Yes.
how Jammeh acquired the Rolls Royce.
God. Allah's central bank.
Yeah, but they don't. But the Rolls Royce was procured with their money.
They don't see that. What they see is their religious leaders and all of those people who are telling them that this guy is one of us. And in fact, they said one of us would never ever be in State House.
But
so now that one of us is there, we have to make sure that we support them.
But that is also called. That is also the key. That still takes us back to the issue of critical mind. Because now that takes you now to low self-esteem. If somebody says Mandinka will never be a president in the Gambia, I'm not offended. Because I know I'm a Gambian.
Well, you are educated.
I'm
you
not,
always
no,
question
no,
things.
it's not just that.
Yes.
I'm not offended. I know I am a Gambian, and every Gambian by constitution has a right to acquire the privilege of being a president.
Yeah.
So I'm not
Let me
offended.
ask you just one simple question.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself as a Gambian before your tribe? How do you see yourself?
I think I see myself as all of the above. I see myself as somebody who is from Badibu. I see myself as somebody who is from Salikenya. I see myself as a Mandinka. I see myself as a Gambian. I think none of this identity should negate the
Why
other.
I said that? If you are introducing yourself,
how
do you
I just
introduce?
said I'm Mustafa Kedam.
Yes, but are you?
I don't even like the color of describing myself. I'm an investigative journalist.
No, would the next thing be I'm a Gambian?
No. I just said I'm from the Gambia. Mustafa Kedam, I'm from
you
the
see
Gambia.
what I mean? Yeah.
That is sufficient.
How would you feel then?
But any of these identities,
would you go further to say that I'm a Mandinka?
No, because that's not.
So this tells you.
But again,
this tells you your thinking and your mindset.
But again, none of those identities. You can still be a proud Jola.
Yes.
Because a Jola is a Gambian.
No, but what I'm trying to tell you, many Gambians today.
Yeah.
If you ask them who you are, or they are introducing themselves, they will tell you that I am this from Gambian and I am a Jola. Or I am a
Serero or Mandinka.
But it's the default.
But even that, Joseph, there should not have been anything fundamentally wrong with recognizing your ethnicity without prejudice. Okay? Now, if you think I am Mandinka and only Mandinkas are human beings or Mandinkas are better than others, that is not loving yourself.
Yes.
That is prejudice.
I see. I agree.
Okay? And there is a difference between loving yourself and prejudice. Now, Nelson Mandela, the reason why Nelson Mandela's primary reason for respecting white people, you know what it was? It says, I am not going to empower my group to oppress other groups. You know what the fundamental reason was? Because I love my group. Because if I use my group to oppress other group, naturally I'm exposing them to a future retaliation. So if you love a tribe, you don't utilize the tribe in prejudice.
That means that they don't.
Exactly.
That they are just using.
Exactly. So, but that is what I'm telling you. Now, that is why I'm telling you about the issue of critical thinking. Because a state cannot be built without critical thinking. Like I tell you, I'm critical of Barrow, but I'm in the service of the president. You're critical of the president, but you are in the service of the president. Now, you are not in the service of Barrow or Adama Barrow. You are in the service of the president, who at this point in time seems to be Adama Barrow.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So that critical thinking of how state works and how you can be critical of your president and still be within the fold of, what forms the republic, what forms the state defending the republic, defending the state.
It's the mentality and the psyche of the Gambia that really needs a lot of work. Today, you know how much the president is paid and where that money is coming from.
Yeah.
Many Gambians don't see that. And this is one of the reasons why you believe that you must get value for what you are putting in.
Yeah.
And me too, same.
Yeah.
Which is why you get infuriated when you know how much they are already earning.
Yeah.
And there is corruption.
And everything.
You
And
understand?
inefficiency.
You
And
see?
yeah.
So, but that's because of your understanding. Now, that person in, as Madi would say, what's the
Borabunda.
exactly Boraba.
Boraba.
In Boraba.
Yeah.
How do they see these things? This is not how they see it. You see? So that's education, the being critical thinkers. We have a lot of work to do, really.
All right.
It's an ongoing job.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation. I already said I was going to keep you for 30 minutes.
30 minutes,
Unfortunately,
I know, right?
I'm so sorry. I'm
Okay.
so sorry for that. I mean, I think this is a conversation that needs to happen.
Yes.
I was on
when
TikTok.
I saw your question, I was like, this is
because
gonna be
I was
long,
on TikTok, and TikTok yesterday taught me a lot about what's happening. There seems to be a parallel Gambia where this beliefs permeates, and we need to talk about it.
Indeed.
And thank you for coming by.
It's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. Anytime I'm available, I'll be here. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, everybody, for being there. And if you have questions and you have suggestions of the kind of programs we could host, we could have, or you are somebody who wants to be on this platform, you have challenge to my rounds of questioning, everything you have questions about, there is an email you can reach out to on this channel, and reach out to us, tell us whatever you want, and we will see what we can do about it. Please subscribe, share this content, and let's get to more people, and let's improve our society together. Have a good weekend.